There's the myth of El Dorado, a city completely made of gold. Gold. You just need to pick it up from the streets and be set for life. Aren't we all dreaming of finding endless treasures and becoming rich in a split second and for our next generation to come? At one point in time, it seemed that exactly this happened to the Empire of Spain. But was it really a dream come true? Or a curse in disguise? Let's find out. Hey, before we start, I'm new to this whole YouTube thing and I want to improve myself to give you better content. I want to talk with you about economics, its history, its impact, and also why it's important for us all and therefore understand the world a little bit better. If you are interested in these topics or you just want to see the channel grow, please do not forget to click subscribe. Also, please let me know in the comments below what I can do better and what topics you're interested in. With this out of the way, let's go back to the video. With the rediscovery of America, the New World as it was called, a new age started for Spain. In the hope of finding a quick passage to India to find an access to their spices and gold, Columbus ended up on the American continent. And gold he found. Many other conquistadors followed after Columbus. Vasco Núñez de Balboa, Hernán Cortés, Francisco Pizarro, Lope de Aguirre, to name a few of them. What did they have in common? They were ruthless.
I am the wrath of God. The earth I pass will see me and tremble.
Taking by force what they thought should be theirs, based on the Requerimiento, a declaration by the Spanish monarchy. Enslaving, torturing, raping, infecting them with deadly diseases, killing them. Millions of people over the centuries, plundering, pillaging, destroying villages and cities, just to get as much gold and silver as possible out of the natives. It did not end there. The Europeans destroyed cultures which have been living in these regions for centuries, destroying their identity, their culture, and evangelized them in the process. More than 300 years ruled the Spanish Empire over Latin America. Despite the bloody history, the names of the tormentors are still present today, naming streets, plazas, buildings. When I traveled in Latin America, this fact struck me the most, as this is probably the most mortifying thing there is. In the mid of the 16th century, about 220 tons of silver were brought to Europe each year. 16,000 tons of silver and 181 tons of gold were brought in 130 years from the Americas to Spain. Half of the silver coming just from one mountain, the Cerro Rico, near Potosi in Bolivia. It seemed as all the precious metal will make the whole Spanish Empire richer and richer. But if you have seen one of my previous videos, you can already imagine what hit the Spaniards. The inflation. Most of the silver and gold was minted directly into coins, meaning the total number of available money increased. As the availability of the other goods did not increase, the prices increased in a way that has not been seen many times before. Prices nearly six-folded within 150 years. This amounts to an inflation rate of 1 to 1.5% each year. In my video about inflation, I mentioned that nowadays an inflation rate a little under 2% is seen to be ideal. So it doesn't seem that much. But especially the peasants were hit hard, as their salaries did not increase but prices skyrocketed. The spending capacity decreased rapidly. It was mostly believed that the easy accessibility to gold and silver paired with more efficient mining techniques lowered the required time to produce gold and silver, and therefore decreased the equivalent value of traded goods. In 1568, the French Jean Bodin came up with the quantity theory of money. As you can remember, that is the theory that states that the general price level of goods and services is directly proportional to the amount of money supply. So even though during this time the production cost theory and the quantity theory of money are quite similar, both explaining the high inflation, over the time it showed that, unlike the production cost theory, the quantity theory of money is still valid if the money is not based on metal. Especially the rich aristocrats and landowners, but also traders, manufacturers and merchants profited from the imported treasures. But even the Spanish crown started spending more and more money. And the wars that were fought became more and more expensive. To fund these wars, they had to borrow money at ridiculous high interest rates, which grow up to 48%. And the inflation hit other European countries as well. In the process, Spain went bankrupt. In 1557 for the first time. Within 1 century, the Spanish monarchy went bankrupt 6 times. A practice that found many copycats in other monarchies, but also democracies. After the initial rush of gold and silver imports stopped, the inflation inclined again from 1640 onwards. And with this, the story ended, which started on one of the biggest atrocities in human history. This story underlines the statement, the love of money is the root of all evil. So much suffering, so much pain and injustice followed the greed of the conquistadors, and not just on the side of the indigenous people, but also for a lot of poor Spaniards as well. A time in history that economists will remember as the Spanish Price Revolution. I think we all know about the plundering and the atrocities that the Europeans did in South America, but did you know that this also had this impact on Europe? And often I wonder what would have happened if Europeans and the South American civilization would live in peace, and the Europeans, and how would it all develop? What do you think? What are your ideas? And if you want to hear more stories or want to learn about economics, check some more of my videos and don't forget to subscribe my channel. And I'll see you in the next one.